Roll call, please.
Alderman Shockey,
Here.
Alderman Winger. Here. Alderman Eugene Wesley,
Here.
Alderman Cadella, Alderman Police,
Here.
Alderman Coles,
Here.
Alderman Roy Wesley. Here. Alderman Lewitton.
I need a motion to approve the minutes, March 11, 2010.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Any corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Item number
Three, four.
4 on your agenda is fleet maintenance software purchase. We already purchased the machine. This was a budget item. We are now looking to purchase the data for the machine. So I'll obtain a motion to approve $28,500 for CFA Win 8 fleet maintenance software system. That will be my motion.
I'll second it.
Is there questions? Let's take a roll call on this, please. Question? Alderman Shark?
You're talking about the Salt Street Bridge Safety Ornamental Railing installation.
I'm talking about item number 4, fleet maintenance software purchase.
What happened to,
There's a revised agenda that came out.
I'm sorry, thank you.
Any question on that? Let's do a roll call on that, please.
Alderman Shockey,
Yes.
Alderman Winger. Yes. Alderman Eugene Wesley,
Yes.
Alderman Police,
Yes.
Alderman Coles,
Yes.
Alderman Roy Wesley.
Yes. Next item number 5, report and recommendation vehicle replacement replacement 210 and 101. It's a budget item for replacement. Staff recommended approval of 2 vehicles totaling $75,000 for replacement. It's coming out of this year's budget, next year's budget. So that will be my motion to approve this.
I'll second it.
Questions?
Questions?
Alderman Roy Wesley.
Well, we got the report here, and I would agree on the F-350 pickup truck because that's heavy miles for plowing and stuff. But if I'm understanding this right, John, correct me if I'm wrong, your repairs is $15,500 for the last 9-10 years?
Correct.
Okay, so that comes out to $1,722 per year versus the car, which I don't really think there are hard miles on there. That comes out to 5,000 miles a year, and it comes out to $155.55 per year. I really don't think that's responsible for spending our money for $155 a year for repairs on a vehicle. So I don't think that's out of line, and I think we should keep that one.
Alderman Joe Coles.
All right, John, when you figured that 290 hours, is that 290 hours figured in with the cost of the 15,000? Or is that for material only?
The 290 hours on the 2001 Ford F-350 was the total labor hours spent in repairing that 15,500.
That was the total?
Correct.
Did you ever figure out how much per hour your mechanics get in the 290? If it's say it's 300 hours and you pay your mechanics $30 an hour, that's another $9,000.
Okay, I see where you're going.
All right? Even though they're working for, you have to figure that when you come to estimate how much you paid into the truck.
Correct. There's a value to the time.
That's right. So you're talking another $9,000 So I don't know why there's so much argument. And you need the new equipment. I mean, we've gone through this many times where save a truck, breakdown, out of work. When the truck is broke down, you get no value out of the truck at all. We've gone through these fleets over a period of years since I've been here, replacing equipment and replacing equipment and replacing it, and that is proved faithfully through the years when we came to snowstorms and stuff like that. So as far as I'm concerned, we should replace whatever you decide that has to be replaced.
Alderman Winger?
Thank you.
Oh,
I
hang on one
realize
minute.
that.
John
okay,
would
go
like to answer, reply to that. Go ahead.
I can go at any time.
Okay. Do I go or do you want to, Alderman Winger?
I realize that it's slated to come out of the equipment replacement fund, and that's outside of our, our general fund, that sort of thing. However, is this something that, in theory, and this is more of a procedural question, can the equipment replacement fund essentially pay for people if it had to, that ran the equipment? Or what are the specific uses of the equipment replacement fund?
Well, first of all, the Equipment Replacement Fund is funded from a general fund transfer.
Okay.
So it really does have an impact on the
Okay.
general fund. Typically, in my experience, in the cities I've worked in, we have never paid for labor or personnel out of the Equipment Replacement Fund. It was only used for the replacement of the vehicles themselves.
Okay, so it could be our choice to not fund the equipment replacement fund for a year.
As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Wilson can help me out. I think at last week's meeting, you decided to cut both of those vehicles and take them out of the budget. So as it stands right now, those two vehicles are out of the budget. Isn't that right?
Am I
Correct, yeah. The direction last week was not to fund them until you had gotten a chance to review the maintenance history on both vehicles, and then you would make a decision at that point whether or not to fund either one of those vehicles. That's why this was such a quick turn on this from last Thursday to tonight, was so that we can have an accurate budget number for you before we get out of here tonight. So they were pulled from last week until pending further review. So the outcome of the motion that's on the floor right now will have an impact on the numbers you see tonight, so.
But I thought we had a discussion that, and I don't have the minutes here, but I thought we had a discussion that we weren't going to do that due to the fact is 5 more years down the line, we're going to have him sitting here or someone sitting here and saying we need 5 more vehicles. And my argument, and my argument is still with this equipment replacement. First of all, it's state funding that it comes from. I mean, we get state funding, we buy state purchase equipment. The other thing is, if you go ahead and push back these 2 vehicles, next year or 3 more years, if you look at down the line here, we got more trucks that got to be replaced. And my argument is here, don't get off the program. We have a maintenance replacement schedule that we put together, and I still say we still should stick by that, because 5 years down the line or 3 years when we need 4 vehicles, this council is going to be up for grabs and said, no way, we can't spend it because we don't have the money for 4 vehicles. If we keep doing our vehicle replacement the way it's supposed to go, we'll be fine. But New Zero Police,
As far as the truck, I know right now that's on the Plan B to be out. The truck should go in. The car, basically, the pool car that we're replacing is a car that rarely gets used on occasion, 50,000. So if we hold back on that car, it does not make a difference to let the car sit, because basically, whether it sits another year, Mr. Kramer's car or somebody else's car may become the next pool car. It might be, I don't know, maybe Mr. Forrest or one of the other cars we have in the thing. The pool car can wait. I don't think the pool car really needs to go right now, but the truck, I think, should go. I think Alderman Roy Wesley was saying, that's what he was trying to say. Put the truck in, keep the equipment replaced, let the pool car go another year or so. That's all.
You care to address that, Wally, with your pool card? It's here. It's administrative vehicle.
Well, it's got 50,000 miles on it, and we're not going to trade it in. We're going to put it back in the pool and have it replace one of the other vehicles that has more miles than that. So we're still going to get a few years of useful life out of that vehicle as part of the administrative pool. Typically, what we do when cars wear out, either from Mr. Kramer or Jeff Vermes or the police chief or the deputy chief, we'll rotate those into the pool so that we can get a few more years of life out of them without them just falling completely apart. Can we make it last another year? Yeah, that's why we put it in Plan B as a possible cut. I'm sort of tracking both Alderman Wesley's in terms, at least Alderman Roy Wesley in terms, and Alderman Police, that if we had our druthers, we'd probably replace the pickup truck. We probably can make that 50,000 mile Taurus go another year before we rotate it into the pool. We'll get by.
My question there, where does the equipment replacement fall for next year then? If we hold this one off, where are we falling back on for, what's slated for next year?
I'd have to
Anyone
go,
got it?
I don't have that in front of me. I'd have to go back into my files and look at what the long-term replacement schedule is.
All right, well then I'll amend my motion that we only purchase the pickup truck then. Secondary agree?
Yeah, I'll agree.
Okay. John, you have anything else to say? So, the new purchase price of approval to purchase the 2001 F-350 pickup with snowplow and liftgate, purchase price of $37,100. Is that right?
No,
John?
that's the price of the old truck.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's the new price?
That was the vehicle's worth when we purchased that in 2001. The current estimated replacement cost will be about $45,000.
Okay, so it will be $45,000. I have a second on that motion.
Second it.
Okay. Any questions, concerns? Okay. Let's do a roll call vote on this, please.
Alderman Shockey,
Yes.
Alderman Winger,
No,
Alderman Eugene Wesley,
Yes.
Alderman Police,
Yes,
Alderman Coles,
Yes,
Alderman Roy Wesley,
Yes.
And Mr. Luton,
Alderman Lewitton.
he just walked in, so.
I guess if I wasn't here to listen to the closing arguments, I have to abstain.
Okay. And motion carries. Item number 6, you guys were handed a thing tonight about brush pickup. Just for you know, the contract that we choose to eliminate the brush pickup. The direction was to come back and discuss on the method, how we will consider brush pickup. So I guess I'm looking at the memo, and I did review the memo, and I kind of agree with him in that perspective. I don't know if you guys had a chance to go through the memo. You just want to give us a brief description of the memo that was handed out, John?
Absolutely. Thank you. The memo I originally placed in was to have a discussion on brush collection and the level of service. I then revised my memo to include a couple different options. The first option would be to not do any brush collection within Public Works. So that would be no increase in the level of service than currently provided other than Allied Waste Service, and that Public Works would not pick up any additional brush besides normal storm damage and Christmas trees, which are two brush that we currently pick up now, even with Winkler's Tree Service. So we do any emergency pickups for storm-related damage, and we do pick up Christmas trees several times right after the Christmas season. The second option, which was the staff preferred option, was to pick up citywide brush pickup twice per season. We didn't come up with hard dates. We came up with timelines with spring and fall, a spring cleanup and then a fall cleanup. And that would be a citywide pickup. It would run similar to the way Winkler's does it now. We would do it the last full week of a month, and we would go complete citywide in the spring and in the fall. And then the third option, which is basically exactly what Winkler's does now, was to pick up brush the last full week of every month, or if it extended a little bit beyond there, but that would be the placement time for residents. And the problem in doing that would be that some amount of work within Public Works would get delayed or unfortunately would not be available to get completed. And I tried to list most of those items out on the memo. The highest workload that we currently have in the spring months, for the most part, is asphalt restorations and turf grass restorations in conjunction with water main breaks, sanitary, storm sewer repairs, et cetera. Both those projects are probably our largest spring items that take the most amount of staff. Asphalt restorations takes 4 individuals. Turf grass restorations, 2 to 3 individuals, depending on the amount. Right now, we have a current backlog of asphalt restorations in the number of 20, and turf restorations we're just under 40 right now. We anticipate, with no other work coming in as far as brush collection, we would imagine being done with both those restorations projects in its entirety by the first to second week of June. If we were to, again, take on brush collection after the contract ends in July, I would envision that any restorations could possibly take us longer. The areas that I think we would be deficient in or be unable to continue servicing as we do now would be citywide street sweeping the entire city during 1 month. I think the one individual that takes may get pulled off and put on that brush collection detail if that was the decision. And any forestry program that we currently have going, unfortunately, that unit would be out collecting brush and be unable to do any pruning. This past 2 weeks, we've had some very nice weather, and we've been able to do a good portion of Ward 3 in pruning. We're hoping to be able to keep that trend going through the whole summer. So we're hoping to get through a significant portion of the city in pruning. Unfortunately, if brush collection, due to the fact we need both equipment for both operations, we would be unable to continue that pruning. So again, option 2, I feel, and after speaking with staff, we feel that we can do that with minimal reductions in current levels of service, current levels of service request completion, by doing a spring and a fall brush collection pickup.
Okay. Alderman Sharkey?
Yeah, before we sent brush collection out, we used to pick up, depending on the ward, first ward, probably the employees would pick up Ward 1, second ward, Ward 2. You know, there's still people out there that think that's the way we do it. And I don't understand if we have 3 people pruning, why they cannot take the first day, and if I remember correctly, there would be maybe 5 or 6 people that had brush out for their week, which would take, a couple of hours, and they can get right back to the tree pruning. They'd have the chipper there and everything, which we got a brand new one. I'm not sure I understand why with the state of the state, you might say, with the money being short, why we can't handle what we handled before, just a little over a year ago. I think we were sold a bill of goods and having them taken outside, and it was working very nicely, and the people understood when they put brush out. Right now, they're putting out brush anytime. They're so confused, it's ridiculous. I'd like to see it go back to the monthly or the weekly thing, the first day of each week for that ward. And if it's 5 or 6 or even 8 houses that have brush out there, it doesn't take that long. we can let them know in the city newspaper again, that depending on what ward they're in, what week they should put their brush out. So it's not going to be sitting there for 3 or 4 weeks or something.
Mr. Kramer?
I agree with the confusion on brush collection. I too have dealt with several residents and they're unknowing as to when to put brush out. We've tried to be consistent for the last 2 years that the program has been in place to pick up brush the last full week of each month. From our standpoint in Public Works, it's easier for us to go out and do a complete citywide pickup because it allows our staff to go out, complete that entire job, and then go on to the next. If we were to pick up a portion, say, as your example stated, they used to pick up Ward 1 the first week of a month, Ward 2 second week, and so on and so forth. After speaking with staff, they told me that traditionally at times they would be unable to pick up one complete ward in 1 week if it was, say, a heavy pruning month in the spring, so they couldn't complete all of those days in one time. So I'm a little unsure on the timeline of being able to pick up brush, say, in 1 week and also completing those prunings.
Alderman Nugent?
John, quick question. You're talking about the 6 staff members, but they're not pruning trees. They're doing other things, right? So the bottom line is we're making it sound like all these guys are doing is pruning those parkway trees when they've got other responsibilities, correct?
Absolutely, and that's what I tried to lay out a little bit here. Of a 7-man crew on any given day, you may have 4 going out and doing asphalt restorations. You may have another 3 going out and doing turf restorations. So there are your 7. Or another day you may have 4 doing asphalt, may have 1 on the street sweeper, 1 working on signs, another 1 going out and working on a service request.
Do these guys also do anything with televising the pipes, if I remember right?
No, that's the utilities department.
Different department.
Correct.
Alderman Roy Wesley?
Does this mean if a person takes down a tree in their backyard, they take it down themselves, that you're only going to pick it up in the spring or in the fall? Or are you going to do a per call basis too?
The way staff proposed option 2 would be we would only pick up brush collection twice during the season. Once would be in the spring and once would be in the fall. If the tree was in relationship to a storm damage that went through, we would be obliged to help out several residents if they called us and said, we have storm damage related to a storm. We would make a concession to go through the town and pick up brush for that. But as far as if somebody was just removing a tree and they wanted to pick up the brush, they could put out a majority of the brush through and have Allied pick it up pursuant to their contract. And the remainder of it, either they could cordwood it or save it until we pick that up.
With your option 2, I would think that in certain areas of town, if people pile their brush up for fall time, that you're going to get rodents in those piles too. And that's why I was bringing up a suggestion of on a per call basis too. If some people put their stuff out, I know it's an inconvenience for them because they would have to call, but it's some things that we have to go through at times for inconvenience of budget problems too. So I would like to look at that too, on a per call basis. I don't mind the twice per year, but if a person wants a call for a brush pickup, since the truck's out there already doing trimming of some sorts already.
John, how many do we normally get per call for brush pickup? Not that many, do we?
Currently, with the brush collection program, there's always a significant amount of calls that Public Works receives for brush that was either missed during the collection, perhaps, which traditionally turns out to be someone put it out either late or didn't know that the truck perhaps had already gone by and they place it out. We normally work with the resident in picking that up, and we would continue to extend that level of service. Again, I would hope that, residents would work with us in being understanding that we might not be out that day, but we would be out the next time the truck is out. We would go through and pick that up in conjunction with any other forestry work that was going on.
So more or less, more or less what we try and say, what I think the direction that I'm getting hints here that if the brush truck, if we're pruning a tree and we get a call for someone that needs a brush pickup, that we will go out there and pick it up. Am I understanding that is direction that you feel that we can handle that?
Correct. We can handle that. Again, I just want to reiterate that it would be definitely based on departmental activities during that
Right.
time frame that we would be picking up the next time the truck was out and in that section. Again, it may take a few days. I wouldn't want to see it sit on the parkway for extended period of time. But again, I would just urge everyone to understand that it would be when that vehicle was out again in that vicinity. Anytime it granted we are a small community across 3 miles. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you have X amount of time during the day, again, we would be willing to work within those parameters.
Okay,
yes.
and then keep in mind, if a major storm comes through here, yes, we are going to do a citywide pickup if a storm comes through our town. Christine Weiner.
Thank you. Yeah, let's keep in mind that we do have a garbage contract that says that they will pick up brush. So let's train the residents to put it out with the trash on the Monday or Tuesday, whatever their day is. And then also, we could do the option 2 twice a year for those special circumstances. And yeah, if a storm comes through, I'd be shocked if we didn't, address a storm that came through. So I think we're more than covered. Thank you.
Okay. Louisville Police.
I basically was gonna say about the same thing. Go with option 2. I know if the storms come, and if some resident's cutting down some tree in the backyard that's naturally larger than 2 inches, then we can go out. But, right, we should start putting it in the bags or bundling it up and let the garbage. We're paying a premium for the garbage, so might as well take advantage of it.
Okay. Any other discussions? I'm going to obtain a motion to have a yard waste brush pickup picked up by the city twice a year. That is my motion. With per call. That is my motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No. Oppose? One oppose?
One opposed.
Passes. Motion carries. The other item is the fertilization for weed control of city turf and grass. I did go over this. I did talk to Mr. Kramer about this. I am going, since this recommendation came out, Stormwater Committee at one time, I am asking to take this back, and I believe last meeting, I believe Alderman Roy Wesley said it should go back to Stormwater to review again, or someone made that comment. So I am asking that this item be tabled and taken back to Stormwater Committee for their recommendation to be brought to the committee for directions. So I have a second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Items be considered future meetings. Compact agreement based under new payment. Do we have any idea when that may come, John? Or Dave? I know it could be after the budget,
Yeah, I can probably bring that in the first committee meeting in May.
okay? Solar power lights, can we, John, you know when that will be?
Give you a date when that will be at the next
Yeah.
committee meeting.
Stormwater Solutions, Saw Creek Bridge Safety Ornamental Railing Installation. Who asked for that to be put on the agenda?
We received a grant from Representative Rebeletti.
That that was for a bridge.
Yeah, it's for a pedestrian, it's for the Salt Creek Bridge, so that applies to the pedestrian safety on the bridge. And we've got a certain amount of time that we have to use that funding by, so we were gonna bring it to the council sometime this spring/summer. It was originally gonna be on tonight, because I was anticipating that we'd be complete with the budget, but we have some time to wait till after budget, so it'd be brought to you in May.
So it will be in May?
May.
And when's that money got to be used up by?
It's gotta be used up by the summer of 2011.
Completed?
Yeah.
Do we have that grant money on hand, or
Yeah,
are
it's
we
in-
waiting for the state to send
No,
us
it's in
a
our
check?
bank, it's in our bank account. We already have the check.
Okay. All right, anything else? Alderman Luton.
John, here's what I want to ask for next time, if you can bring it in. 16 years ago, the federal government established guidelines for lead, and finally, 2 years ago, the EPA was told to get guidelines out for it, and now, effective April 22nd this year, those laws go into effect. And I want to know what we're going to do to make sure that every person who comes in here who's doing rehab work in any house that's built before 1976 or 8, I forgot which year, when the lead law was passed, is a certified lead specialist or has a certified lead specialist working with him, so we make sure that that law is complied with. The law calls for a penalty of $37,000 a day per incident. So I think we should have something in-house in our system.
Well, I'm trying, that's not Public Works Committee. I'm trying.
Isn't that Public Works where,
No, I believe
since
that.
they'll be working in the city?
But that will be under the building department to enforce that code.
It would
if
be
there is a
under,
code.
under which committee?
I would say it would be under building code, planning and zoning. Or public health and safety. Yeah, or public health and safety, either one. I mean, that shouldn't fall under Public Works.
Okay, I will pull it out right now, and I'll just say ditto
I
when
mean,
it comes
unless
to
John
Public
wants
Works.
to answer the John, want to answer the question? Since you're there now?
Good, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, Alderman Lewitton, you may recall, I sort of lightly touched on the lead remediation requirements a few weeks ago when we were talking about upgrading the building codes. And we are aware that starting in April, remodeling contractors are required to have at least one certified individual on the site to monitor, be sure that the any lead-containing paint or any other building materials are properly removed and the site is properly cleaned up, and then they actually have to sign a certification on it. And that's something we will require with our building permits for any remodeling projects.
So you've already taken care of it?
Correct.
Yes.
Oh, that's very good.
Okay. Any other item in Public Works? Okay, if not, make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, John. I believe planning and zoning was going next.
Okay, I call the meeting together of the Planning, Zoning, and Building Committee. John, can you stay for a minute? I'm going to have you make a question. Could I have a roll call to show that one additional person has been added to committee meeting, myself? We will have the, do I have anybody who will ask for approval of the minutes, or I'll make a motion to approve the minutes unless anybody has an objection?
No, Second.
Any, then can I have a vote, just a voice vote? All those in favor of approving the minutes? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. We will do a report and recommendation called Shop Wooddale Program. This, you all have a memo from Ross Klinger. I see he is here, and he's going to take us through the program. I'll just highlight his intent. Item one of the discussion will be the level of discount to be provided to the customers. Should it be a level amount, such as, say, 10%, or should there be categories of different percentage discounts, or shall there be a website where each business can list their discounts? Point two would be, should we hire an outside source to take us through this? And Ross has a recommendation in here for web QA. And then the question would be a legal one to be determined by our city attorney, whether the taxes, the sales tax, are based on the discount price or the regular price. Because as we all know, when we get a coupon and we go to the grocery store and we take 25 cents off of an item, or we get $500 rebate on an automobile, you still pay sales tax on it because it's not considered, it's considered we're paying with the coupon. And with said those three major things, I turn the floor over to Ross. John?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I just wanted to maybe give members of the council and the residents a little background on how this program has evolved. For several months, staff has done some brainstorming. We've contacted other communities. We've tried to come up with some kind of a program that would not only keep the Wooddale residents local with their shopping, but also try and initiate some sort of a program that would bring residents from surrounding communities into Wooddale to shop as well. Ross has checked with some other communities, and at one point in time, we discussed the possibility of almost holding like a citywide raffle, where each of the stores would have raffle tickets, and when somebody came in, shopped in the store, they would get a ticket, and then there would be regular drawings for prizes and fun stuff. Another scenario that we reviewed was having some sort of a discount card that people could use in restaurants throughout the city. But then again, would that be limited to residents? Would it be limited to, would it be open to anybody who wanted to come into town and use the restaurant? We also discussed possibly discount cards being distributed to the residents that could be used at any retail store in the city. Ross was able to find this next program that he wrote the memo about. We have a representative here from WebQA who is also going to do a presentation. But basically, this program, in my opinion, seems like the most forward-thinking. What it does is it sort of ties all the businesses in through a link to the City of Wooddale website. It allows each individual business to have control over their own window on the website so that they can give information about their business, they can offer their own coupons, they can change their information contained on their website fairly regularly. So if they only run a special for a week or have a coupon that's good for a week, then the following week they're able to change that. So it's very interactive with the businesses, would not limit who uses these coupons to just residents. Anybody who wants to shop at the store could use them. They'd be on the internet, able to be downloaded. So this program, it's new out in the market and seems like it's sort of avant-garde. And with that, I'll turn it over to Ross, let him give you a little more information.
Thank you, John. John did an excellent job of quick explanation of the program. I won't go into too much more detail except to say that not only would the businesses be allowed to post coupons, it would also give them an opportunity to post job notices and other information to the residents, where we would not only be helping the residents with a discount, we'd be helping the businesses by finding them local residents to work in their establishments. And I think everyone would agree that someone who is closer to the business is usually a more reliable, more dependable employee. And it works both ways. It helps the city in all respects, that we're keeping our residents employed, we're giving them a discount, we're keeping our businesses happy by finding them local employees, helping them find local employees, and also hopefully increasing their business sales. So with that, Robert Gross, sorry, I blanked on the last name, is here from WebQA. He's going to do a quick explanation to show you a little bit of what it might look like.
Sure. Okay. Council, first of all, I wanted to thank you for some time tonight to explain this pilot opportunity. My company, GovQA, we've been in business over a decade. We are the nation's lead provider in what's known as CRM technology, or citizen request management technology. We have over 500 municipalities, 30 million plus citizens that use our technology on a daily basis. From our client base is how we develop all of our new products. And this new product is ShopQA. The overwhelming majority of our client base asked us to come up with a piece of technology that would do three things. A, it would allow cities to show support for each and every one of its local businesses, organizations, and associations. That it would allow the opportunity to create and maintain local jobs, and then finally to stimulate and generate additional sales tax revenue dollars. So and or business licensing to increase that as well. So we've dubbed this product ShopQA. One of the sorry, as I how do I select it? Okay, this is Addison, Texas. Addison, Texas is in the process of piloting this with us as well. And that's what this is. It's a pilot opportunity. So the benefit to a pilot is price incentive. The other edge of that sword is I don't have 500 other municipalities to point you back to, but I do have a strong base both within Illinois and throughout the country that are piloting this. So this is Addison, Texas' homepage, and I wanted to show you this so you can see how we'll take on the same look and feel as the homepage. Okay. Enter. Yeah.
Sorry about this.
Sorry about that. Let's go to the directory. Second from the top. Okay, so this is the directory page. So you see we're going to take on the same look and feel as your home page. This directory is going to include everything, so it's not just limited to businesses. So this is going to include anything from doctors, daycare centers, any sort of restaurant, hotel, home-based business, automotive, including and not limiting it to the actual organizations, not-for-profits as well. So we also celebrate the chamber in this. This has been a tool to increase chamber membership. So we definitely highlight that. However, we don't sell this specifically to chambers because they're limited in their non-for-profit organization associations. Sorry, question?
I do. You got some things over there pointing.
Yes.
Could you go up there and explain what that is? Because it's hard to read from there.
Okay, no problem.
It's still not clear. This way we get a better understanding
Sure.
of what is what.
Okay, so
Thank
this
you.
being the directory page, so we're going to create an icon from the home page that says something to the extent of Shop Wooddale. Okay, when I click on that, it's going to bring me to a directory, and this directory is going to house everything that I just listed. I'm going to have different filter items that I can search by, different types of categories. So up here, we're going to have categories, and then I can search by keywords as well, but anything and everything will be listed in here. Okay, and that's hundreds and hundreds of businesses and organizations. If you want to pull up, Ross, the let's see, the top one, the Addison business page. Yes. This is the page that'll be brought up once you click on the business that you've searched for. So the first part is just simple static listing of information, those first couple of arrows. Who it is they are, where it is they're located. Down here in this red box would be some, just a blurb about what it is that they do. As we continue down, we're going to have a content management system. This content management system allows each and every business to put anything that it is that they want here. So a coupon, an employment application, a registration form from the YMCA, photos, Anything it is that they want, they can do. And they can also change that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Ross, if you pull up that, if you go down here, and then the coupon PDF. So when I click on the coupon, it's going to pull up in color, just like this, a printable PDF. So this, again, if you think about how much money a business spends on a black and white ad in a local newspaper, even on a weekly basis, the costs get considerable. This is at zero cost to these businesses, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So they can change this at will, and again, at zero cost in color. So, okay, Ross, if you pull up, let's go to the Shop QA end of year, and just start scrolling down. Yep, go ahead, keep going. Yeah. Okay, a little bit. Okay, so this is what we've already, just from feedback. So part of the pilot, we're looking for feedback. So, you know, it would be great if you guys could put this in there. It'd be, you know, this doesn't seem to really be doing anything. You can remove this. Already from feedback from our client base, just within the pilot program, this is where we're headed to the new directory. So you can literally get as granular as you want with your filtering capabilities. So for instance, restaurants, sushi, pizza, so on and so forth, you can plot where you're at. We're working with an iPhone app distributor, so we can actually use this as I'm walking down Main Street and seeing what's going on with the iPhone. If I continue to scroll down, you'll see here, this is more of a clear shot of the directory, what will be coming in the future quarters. So Q3, Q4, somewhere around there. We're going to highlight chamber members. Now, it'll be more substantial than what's here. I just wanted to, as a placeholder, show you that the chamber members are going to be listed in here. And the idea being, as they stand out different in the directory from a business not a part of the chamber, the people will inquire about that, and hence hopefully drive up additional chamber membership. We can post reviews, so if a restaurant has a review about what it is they've done, they can actually post that review. However, we take away the ability to rate it yourself. For instance, a competitor goes in and just hits 1 star out of 5, so over and over and over. So, but if you have a review and you'd like to post it, you can do so from there. This page right here, this is perfect. So this is what we're moving towards. So right now we're going to have, in the upcoming quarters, again, aside from the business information, social networking tools. So we can actually do that right now. So, you know, Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, LinkedIn, if they're already using that, they can continue to be followed right from there. At the top, I can ask a question. So I can communicate back and forth with this business or organization. Join us, meaning that, let's say I want to follow this business to some capacity. They've got a mailer, an email campaign, a newsletter I want to be a part of. I can subscribe right from there. There's going to be numerous other things that we can do, and we can put a company logo there in the middle. As you scroll down a little bit further, Ross, again, this is that content management where they're going to have the ability to put anything it is that they want there, change that on a daily basis. If you keep going down, this is what the back end looks like. So for instance, you know, we've got a pretty good pulse on municipalities across the country. We know that you guys are understaffed and under-budgeted. So we do all the heavy lifting. The city just basically helps us promote this, gets us the initial list. The businesses and organizations control the content, and then we do all the servicing, the hosting, the providing, and the training of the businesses and the organizations. So you'll see it's very simple custom fields, and there's actually, the only thing that's missing from this slide is there will be question marks strategically placed throughout the back end, so that if I get lost as a business owner as to how to add a coupon, I click on the question mark, and I'll have 3 options. I can either A, schedule a live webinar presentation, again at zero cost to be a part of, where somebody from my staff trains you live. B, I can go in and watch an on-demand video, a pre-recorded video as to how to attach a coupon or change my address. Or C, contact us during business hours. So again, we do all the heavy lifting. It's pretty much turnkey and go from the city standpoint. So in a nutshell, that's what the technology is, and I'd be more than happy to take any questions, comments, concerns. Yes, anybody?
I'd like to recognize Alderman Wesley.
I have a couple questions.
Sorry.
How many towns in Illinois have you run this pilot program with? Are we the first?
You will be one of the first. There's Westchester, Illinois,
Okay.
is doing this, and I know that the It was the city manager of Westchester that actually, in order to pay for the pilot program, scrubbed the cell phone bill, and you can call to verify this, but scrubbed the cell phone plan within the city in order to pilot the opportunity, because he doesn't have people in his office so much concerned with potholes and abandoned vehicles as he does business owners. For 30 years who've been doing business saying, hey, it's tough out there, what can you do to help me out? Or local residents looking for jobs. On average, a small business or local business, that every dollar that's spent is about 40 cents gets returned back to the local community, versus even a big box store, it's about 13 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
So the more that you can keep and the more exposure you can give to each and every business and organization, the better your odds of increasing sales tax dollars and the success of the businesses. You're essentially giving each business and organization a website for free that's anchored to the city, okay?
Yeah.
So that anchoring it to the city means they're not floating off into cyberspace with no sort of search engine optimization tied to it, that it is tied to the city.
Okay, I have two more questions if I can answer.
If no one has an objection, let be noted that Eugene Wesley will ask two more questions.
Okay, I'm reading the annual billable term start April 15th.
Yes,
That is exactly 8 days away.
it is.
Okay, my question to you is, why did we get this so short notice to make a decision tonight? And how did this come about?
Okay, well, the technology will always be there.
So I want to know why April 15th is a deadline.
That's our deadline, because what we have to work towards is towards the end of the month. By the end of the month, whatever's in as far as pilot opportunities go are what the pilots are. So by the 15th is when we cut off the deadlines for that, because we have to put all of our implementation, everything needs to go together in order to mesh so that May 1st, everything's rolled forward. So that's why April
Okay.
15th. And I'm not sure when the
But
first
then
presentation.
there's a $3,000 charge for the program to start, and then there's a maintenance service charge of $125 monthly payment.
Yes.
Okay, my question, and this is my concern, and I don't know if anyone else has a concern on this. I think it's a good program, but I'm really hesitating of spending this kind of money when I don't know how many businesses in this town will take advantage of this. My recommendation, and I did talk to John and Ross about this. My recommendation is, I'm for the program, but my vote would be no tonight for this, due to the fact is it's a short notice.
Right.
I don't know how many businesses would be interested in it. I asked staff, I talked to them about it. My recommendation is, my proposal is send a letter out to all our businesses in town and see how many people want to take advantage of it. Because if I give it right ahead and go ahead and say $3,000 and $125 maintenance, and the businesses aren't paying into this, and that the city's taking a cost on this, I have a problem if I only have one or two businesses that want to tap into it. It's a great program.
I appreciate that.
Believe me, I'm for it,
I understand.
but my vote would be no right now, because April 15th, I'm not willing to spend that kind of money until I got some input from our business.
Sure.
That is all I have.
Well, that was only one question. Christine?
Thank you.
I recognize Christine Winger.
Okay. My understanding is this was ran past the chamber, and I think we have to try to do different things to try and stimulate business and the economy, stimulate sales tax. This is not a huge outlay, and it's something that could affect our sales tax. It really could make a difference. And if we can help the businesses in some way or fashion, I say let's do it. Let's take the chance, do it for a year and see what happens. It's a good program. Oftentimes I do search other city websites where I'm visiting, just looking for a restaurant to go to, or what hotels are in the area specific to the city website. What coupons are out there. I found myself looking at different cities just for coupons, or to have a day in St. Charles or whatever the case may be. And I believe that people will use this, And my understanding is the businesses were in favor of it. And I'd really like to see this, and it's a positive addition to the community. And why pick apart something that's of, nominal cost and it's just a value add? Let's not look at every situation and pick it apart. And if this is a bad contract, then we're going to go back to Mr. Forest Department and we're going to say, why did you sign a bad contract? So make sure this is a good contract before you sign it, please. Thank you.
Eugene Wesley raised some nice questions. I don't think he gave you an opportunity to answer them. I'm going to re-ask the questions in points. One, is this a rolling joining or is it a one-time joining? He said that maybe not enough businesses are ready to join today. But let's say it starts out with 20 people who join. In May, June, July, can others join in?
Absolutely. The way this is designed is that once we're going to take a list of businesses, whatever it is that you have, and we're going to build that directory with everybody. However, let's say that's several hundred businesses. Not all of them on the same day are going to go active as far as taking advantage of the coupons and the job applications and the marketing tools and the communication and the reporting device. What happens is we expect a certain amount to go up fairly quick. And so far in our pilot experience, that's what's happening. In fact, even aside from the marketing, we will provide you marketing templates. In fact, our implementation coordinator that you'll be assigned should you decide to move forward with it, each of my implementation coordinators has over 70 cities under their belt apiece, which is more than what most companies have in total. So they will also provide to you best business suggestions, best business practice suggestions. However, you by no means have to take those suggestions, but it's actually been word of mouth. So aside from the email templates and the marketing that we give to you to provide back to the business owners and organization owners, word of mouth has been traveling quick, fast, and in a hurry for this type of economic development tool through the city.
The other question was what about the commitment? How long is the commitment? Is it a year at a time contract?
Can you pull up
The maintenance contract, it's $125 a month. How many months are we signing for?
I'm trying to pull up the actual so we can scroll down.
It's 3 years?
Keep going. Where are you going there? Okay.
3 years?
Yeah, this is actually, okay, the pilot terms are, instead of, we figured because there would be exactly what your concerns are, not everybody's going to go up at the same time, we extended the term for 3 years at that rate. When this goes live day pricing will be just annual term contracts.
So it's a 3-year contract?
Yeah, so you get the rate for 3 years. And in fact, at the end of the contract, if you make it to be a pilot, the cost doesn't go up to the live date pricing, which is about $2.25 a month per business instead of the less than $1 a month per business being offered here. It just goes up to the essentially cost of living 2 to 6% at the end of the 3 years, should you decide to renew from there.
I had a couple of questions that came about from your answers. What about fair traded items that can't be discounted, or things that are prices that are set by the by filings, where a large corporation sets a filing with the government, and then nobody who handles the product can sell below the filing price, so they can't offer a discount?